Good morning. Day 3, about 7:30 a.m. Sunday. This is the third and final day of the camp out. And last night was kind of rough. In a hammock, you're kind of surrounded with down. And I bailed out. It might have been 1 or 2 in the morning. And I didn't bail out, but what I mean is I pulled the comforter, or the underquilt, I should say. I pulled the underquilt away from the hammock because it was so hot. But then that's tough because your backside gets really cold, even if it's 60 degrees outside. It's just the way the air works. So I didn't sleep great. All right, I'm back at my camp, and I'm gonna chill a little bit. Bushcraft Coffee Company Campfire Medium Roast Coffee. These things are awesome. So my first cup of the day, I put 2 in there. And my next cup will be 1 packet. Of course, alcohol stove is going really nicely. I mean, that eventually when I start posting my fishing videos, you'll see it. But when I'm up on the river or the creek trout fishing, I pack that up. So water's boiling. I just wanted to point these out because, yeah, the marketing is cool and it looks super old school and it's neat, but most importantly, it's really good and it serves a purpose. And then I'm going to get into the old mountain house, and then I'm going to get into a class with Jax again. It's a woods walk identifying trees, which is something I'm not at all good at. I want to kind of touch base on the shopping and the vendors here at Georgia Bushcraft. I don't want it to come off as being negative. It's not negative, but I think I overheard, I should say, as I was walking, somebody, not angrily, but someone kind of make a comment about a coffee mug maybe being overpriced because it had a logo on it. If you're coming here to buy gear, it's a good idea to know kind of what you're getting into and what you're interested in. Look at the vendors. Check out who, is going to be tabling, and go look at it and go window shop. I don't think that this is an event where you're going to get a lot of deals necessarily. You might get some. You certainly might save on shipping, and you might walk away with what you got. You might get some one-offs. You might get some discounts here and there. You might be able to barter a little bit, but the point I want to make is this is kind of a early year opportunity for a lot of these folks to, start their season, so to speak, and show off what's new and show off what they've been working on and what's still to come. You might get an early crack at something that they haven't really started selling yet. And you might, for instance, buy a knife, but maybe the maker will throw in some extras with it, things like that. But this is also how these folks make their living. I mean, these are hard working folks. They're up a lot earlier than I am and go to bed a lot later than I do. They set up all their stuff. They've come in from out of town, out of state. In some cases, the opposite coast. They put an awful lot into this. So this is not a bargain seeker's paradise. It's not supposed to be that. So wouldn't go into it expecting that. You know, you're gonna want to buy stuff, have a budget, window shop. They all window shop too. They're all, you know, just like everyone else that's here. But if it's back to the coffee mug, if it's a coffee mug with a logo and you know, and you feel it might be overpriced, just don't buy it. Don't come here to save money. That's not what it's about. Come here to have a blast and you know, get your dream knife or get your dream gear if that's what it's about for you. Not to mention you're going to take classes and learn from people that, you know, in that respect, you may save money because you're gonna you know, get some education and some information from folks that, you know, their classes aren't necessarily cheap, and you know, you have an opportunity to get some of that instruction, and then of course the raffle. I had another big night at the raffle from a friend actually. I won a due south carving knife from Old Town Cutlery. Super cool. I don't have a carving knife, which makes it even cooler. It's a $195 value, and you know, I bought $30 worth of raffle tickets, so I won 2 days in a row. It's $290, almost $300, $295 in retail value, and I spent a total of $50 in raffle tickets. And there it is. And check that out. It's just a beautiful carver. I'm not a carver. I'm a weekend warrior, but I'm going to learn. And Lee Tigner and Melissa, you know, this is a carving knife. So, you know, is it a sheath? I mean, is it a deal that I come here for a sale? That I come here for a carving knife? Not necessarily, but got one. So, you know, that's kind of a way to just to think about it and put some of this stuff in perspective. And by the way, you get the coffee mug, you take it to work, it's on your desk, and it's just a cool reminder of, you know, that weekend in Watkinsville. So I'm going to climb off my soapbox now, but I'm an opinionated guy, and sometimes you're going to get them. I just wanted to show this area. I think it's really cool with the shed and the fire pit, and I've seen some classes take place here and late night campfires, and everyone's always having a good time at this location. There are a few on site, and it's worth exploring a little bit, seeing what's going on in this really cool property. But just a really cool spot, and I wanted to share it. This is the Medicinal Tree Walk with Jax from Wildcard Wilderness, and I really need to learn identification a lot better, so this is topical and really cool. Third and final day, I'm gonna go learn about some trees.
Yeah, where the net? There used to be one right around here. I don't see it anymore. And there's also, there used to be one right here.
We spent a good couple hours in the woods. Jax was awesome. Has just an incredible amount of knowledge. We would stop and she would identify a tree and explain its uses and what to look for. We all had a lot of questions, and you know, she was great, and so was everybody else that was enjoying the class. It was a really good time.
This tree is ironwood. It's also known as blue beech. And it's also known as the American hornbeam. So anytime, it's also known as musclewood. Anytime you hear any of those things, we're talking about this tree. So American hornbeam is its actual name. There's a little population of cool things over there if you still want to continue. Yeah. That's actually a big indicator that this is probably a pine tree. All right, this is actually all, this whole thing is fatwood. First of all, I mean, it doesn't look dense, it looks rotten. This thing is hard as a rock. I mean, come and feel this thing. Feel it. It smells like pine sol, essentially. That's fatwood. Wow. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Exactly like pine sol.
Mm-hmm.
Just wrapped up a really cool woods walk with Jax from Wildcard Wilderness. I took 2 classes with her. She was great. And I will definitely take another class in the future. Maybe even one of the non-event classes that they also teach here that you can see on their website.
So after the woods walk, it was time to get back to camp, tear it down, pack up, and make sure that I didn't leave anything behind. I won't bore you with the whole pack up process, but it was a great weekend, but it was time to go home.
That's it. I don't know. I didn't time myself, but probably took 25 minutes or so. Something like that. So I'm gonna walk over here and look at a plant that I've been staring at. It's kind of bugging me. I want to know what it is. If anybody's watching this at all, if you can put it in the comments, I'd appreciate that. I'm not originally from the South, so it's one thing to learn about the woods. It's another to learn about the woods in a place that you didn't grow up in. That, I'm really curious what that is. We all love the Blair Witch Project. It was a super scary movie, you know, years ago. And I'm chilling out at my camp, my former camp, and I hear this noise. And the cart is where my hammock was, and I hear this noise, and it's late, 11:30 or so. Couldn't figure out where it was coming from. Maybe it was a raccoon, I didn't know. So I got up with a flashlight and I walked around here because it was coming from over here. And I pointed it over here. And in the dark, and I mean dark, I saw a set of calves, a set of legs inside that shower. I didn't even know that thing was running, but it was crazy because the only light was from my flashlight. So somebody was having a shower in the dark and I interrupted them. I'm sorry, whoever you were. What a great weekend. I'm all packed up and I'm heading home. If I can figure out how to get out, there it is. And you know, what is bushcraft? Well, I know this. I'm not an expert by any stretch, but I think I figured out what it is for me. I'm a little bit of a tinkerer. I like to know how things work. I like to know all of the intricacies of machinery, as much as I have time to learn anyway. And that's kind of what it is. You can go into the woods, you can get in the woods, you can go fishing, you can go to the beach, or, you know, it's not the woods, but you can get out in the woods and you can enjoy the sun and the fresh air. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I kind of ask questions. I just start to have questions. Well, how does this work? What do you do with that? What can I use that for? You know, I saw this plant, this tree, this bug, this animal, this track. What does that mean for my trip today? So that's what bushcraft is to me. It's, to me,
Turn left onto Jerusalem Road.
It's not making something per se. Basket weaving is an example. That's part of it. It's a craft, you know, from natural resources. That's part of it.
Your route may be affected by severe thunderstorm warning.
I hear that.
Continue on Jerusalem Road for 1 mile.
Severe thunderstorm warning. But that's what it is to me. It's just kind of attaining a better understanding for the inner workings of what's going on out there. And if you're a person that asks questions, if you're inquisitive about what you see around you, wherever you live, that's bushcraft. Preparedness, survival, all that stuff. Maybe it weaves in and out, and maybe those are intertwined disciplines, but that's what it means to me. So this is my first video. I hope some people watch it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope I enjoy it. Being able to share it with friends and family and reflect on it myself. That's what this channel
Continue
is all
on
about.
Colham Ferry Road for 5 miles.
But one thing, two things actually, that I'm gonna do, at least for now, is I'm gonna dedicate my video to somebody. And this video I'm dedicating to my grandpa. I've never been camping with my grandpa, my late grandfather. But I did spend a lot of time with him in the northern lower peninsula of Michigan, where we have basically a hunting cabin. And when I was a little kid, I was walking with him around the cabin, and he bent over and he picked up a little red berry that was growing. It looked like moss to me. It turns out it was a wintergreen berry, and that's what he would do. He would walk around the cabin, he'd pick these berries and he'd eat them. And I was just fascinated by that you could, obviously I knew what a strawberry was and whatnot, but this little, berry that I'd seen so many times, he, picked it, ate it, you can eat those. And I thought that was really intriguing. And I think about him a lot and his resourcefulness for all things. Gosh, he was resourceful. But he shared a lot of that, kind of bushcraft, quote unquote, mentality. And this one's for Grandpa. I miss him. I think about him a lot. He was a fly fisherman. Guess who's taking up fly fishing this year? And I'll think of him a lot when I do that too. So this one's for Grandpa. And I'm just gonna roll home now and reflect on the weekend. It's nice to be in the AC. I'm cooling off. I haven't showered since Friday. It's Sunday. So yeah. And go home and make a steak. Hopefully not affected by severe thunderstorms. But that's it. This one's for Grandpa. Oh, one more thing. In the comments, I'm going to leave a link to the book that I'm reading. I read every night before I go to bed, and entirely not related to this channel, but I just think it's intriguing. I always like hearing from folks, like what they're reading, what they're really into. I already know what I'm going to read next, but I'll share it in the comments. If you're a reader, if you're inclined, check it out, and of course, let me know what you think, or if you have any suggestions. The books won't necessarily be related to any of this topic matter. May not. Just want to share. I think it's intriguing. So that's it. I'm going to wrap this up, and Georgia Bushcraft Spring Campout 2025 is in the books. I'll be back in November for the fall gathering. Yeah, awesome time. Hope that you got something out of what I did. Cheers.